Welcome to Inglenook Switching Puzzle in O scale. I'm going to work an On30 consist in this video. The Inglenook Switching Puzzle is a very simple switching puzzle. It's composed of a main line and two sidings, along with a switching lead up at the far end. The number of car capacity for each of these segments is defined by the Inglenook Switching Puzzle. The full Inglenook Switching Puzzle uses 8 cars, and I have 8 cars here. The capacity of this main line is a locomotive and 5 cars. Each of the sidings can hold 3 cars, and the switching lead can hold a locomotive and 3 cars. So what I've done now is I have generated a random switching list. I have these paper medallions or coins that I've put numbers on, and then randomly drawn numbers. So the consist that I'm going to leave town today with on the main line will have car number 8, this gondola, next to the caboose. In front of that will be car number 7, this boxcar. In front of that boxcar will be car number 2, this gondola. And in front of all of those 3 will be car number 4, the flat car, which will be next to the locomotive. The cars that must be left on the siding today are cars 1, 5, 3, and 6. So let's go ahead and begin the switching puzzle. In Britain and Europe, the Inglenook switching puzzles are very popular. In fact, they'll get together and they'll have contests on the weekend to see who can perform a variety of puzzles in the fewest number of moves. So they take great pride in planning out their movements ahead of time. I'm not doing that today. I'm going to kind of freelance it as one might if you saw me at my show. So we can see that the train has arrived. All the cars have snow on them. They've just come in from the mountains. And let's do our switching. So as I take a look at my list, I can see car number 8, very close to being where it needs to be at the end of the train. Car number 7, it's one of the first cars out on the siding, so it's not buried behind the other cars. Car number 2, it's also in a very good position. Car number 4, it's already out on the main line. So we really don't have much to do here. First thing we need to do is get rid of car number 1 and car number 5. Let's go ahead and do car number 1 first. I'm using a pulse width modulator, an inexpensive digital voltage control to control these Bachmann locomotives. And I have to confess, I am really impressed with how smooth the operation is. I'm using KD couplers on all of my equipment, but because of the dual gauge nature of the railroad and having different midlines for the standard gauge versus narrow gauge equipment, I've had to abandon the KD under track uncoupling magnets. I'm now using super magnets, and it creates a fairly narrow uncoupling zone that can sometimes give some problems. I'm having a little problem here. My refrigerator car needs a little bit of work on the uncoupler, so I'm going to use just a wooden dowel and give it a little help. So let's undo the refrigerator car. I'm using harp switch stands for my railroad, and the indicator board on the top of this switch stand tells you what direction the switch is aligned. So straight up is for straight ahead, and to the side is for divergence. So now let's back this refrigerator car down onto the siding with the stake flatbed. My uncoupling zone is indicated by these posts that stick up, and yellow is my narrow gauge. There we go. So now we've got the number 1 car out of the way. And what we need to do now is we don't need the number 5 car. Here's where I'm lucky. I can take 3 cars with me to the switch lead. So I'm just going to go back out on the main line and pick up all 3 of those cars. All right, let's pull forward and get that number 5 boxcar into a siding someplace. Good. While I have the number 8 car on the end of the string of cars, I'm going to go ahead and put it in its position next to the caboose. Now let's go get the number 7 and the number 2 cars. The problem that we have now is that the cars are in their transposed in their order. So we're going to have to do a little bit of switching to get those correctly laid out. And I'm out of room here on the sidings. The sidings can only hold 3 cars. So I'm going to have to use the main line to help sort these cars. So let's get number 7, the boxcar, first. And we'll put it where it needs to be. Number 7 goes in front of car number 8. And now we can get car number 2. And car number 2 and car number 4 are in the correct order. So we'll back our train down onto the caboose, hook up the air brakes, release the brakes, and then we'll be off. So again, I finished the puzzle. Car number 8 is next to the caboose. Car number 7 ahead of that. Car number 2 and car number 4. What I would do now is pick up my coin medallions, lay out a new switch order, a new switch consist, and go ahead and solve the puzzle again. Thanks for joining me for Inglenook Switching Puzzle in O scale for an O30 consist.